this week's WAC Fast Break Extra. I'm Kendra Sheehan. Today we have JaKobe Coles, the 6'8" forward from Grand Canyon men's basketball, joining today. And JaKobe, I know that this is your third stop. You started your collegiate career at Butler, then you spent some time at TCU. Now you're at Grand Canyon. What has it been like adjusting to Bryce Drew's program, and how have you fit in with some of the teammates?
It's been a wonderful experience. It was a tough decision on figuring out where I wanted to go after being at TCU, and I just wanted to go to a place where I felt loved and I felt I could be the best player I could be, and I think Drew's allowed me to become that at this program. And as far as like the guys and stuff that I've met here and I've got to spend a lot of time with, they're all my brothers, and we've had a great season, and we're going to continue it and try to get this WAC championship and continue success in this program.
When you initially enter the transfer portal after TCU, I know your hometown is Denton, so you were kind of once again back closer to home. Was Grand Canyon the one that immediately stood out to you, or how did that exactly work that brought you to Phoenix?
Honestly, I had a few schools that I had lined up to go visit, and some situations that happened, and I knew Coach Kimbrough, who was a coach here, and he was a person that recruited me at Loyola, and so when I went into the portal, he had reached out to me and told me that he was going to be becoming a coach at GCU, and so that's kind of how I first heard. And then I got linked with Drew and some of the coaches on the coaching staff. And I don't remember if we had a Zoom. I'm pretty sure we probably had a Zoom first. And then once we had that Zoom, I didn't have really too many visits lined up at the right at the beginning because I was still trying to figure out my schools. But they really wanted me to come on a visit as soon as possible. And when we had talked on the Zoom call, they had told me that they wanted me to kind of fill the position that Gabe was in, and wanted me to come in and be that player. And it would they thought I'd be a perfect pick. And they told me that I was like the only guy that they was really like looking at in that position that they really wanted. So that opened my ears up, and I wanted to go to a situation where I could be a player I wanted to be, and I also be successful and still win. And for coming from Big 12 basketball, it was a great conference, and obviously it's a difference of conference wise, but I think the important thing is always winning and getting to that tournament, and GCU has showed that in multiple years in a row. So I wanted to be a part of some special again, but also be the player I could be. So when I came on my visit, they showed their hand. They it was a Phoenix is a lovely city as well, so that kind of added to it a little bit. And I think the conversations that we had and the goal and objectives what we both had just lined up, and it just made sense to me, and it was just a perfect move for sure.
And, coming in and filling Gabe's shoes, who was at Grand Canyon for so long, how did you feel like you came in? I mean, you're certainly that high caliber player, and what you've done in previous stops has allowed you to be so recruited by the Lopes. How was it transitioning your game to taking that position and really helping to be that guy in the post and in the paint for this team?
Well, I think that the play style that Coach Drew wanted me to come in with was similar to Gabe's, but I think me and Gabe was just a little bit different type of player. Gabe was more athletic than me, so that I think they put him in positions to where he could be in more athletic stances on offense and lob plays and a couple other plays. But I think what I bring is a little bit more skill in terms of passing, in terms of footwork, and being able to create offense through myself as well. So it was kind of taking a little bit of what Gabe did, but also adding my own, and then working with Drew and trying to fulfill what he needs and what he wants in the offense and the defense. And I think that at the beginning it was great at first just because we was missing a lot of dudes, so they was asking me to do a lot. And I think I did a great job of trying to pick up on things pretty quick and learning and having some solid games. And then, of course, when like Tyon and a few other people came back, we just had to learn how to mesh with each other and play with each other. And sometimes that takes a little time. And I've been a part of many teams where different personalities and different players come together, and somebody might have been injured and then now somebody's coming back. So that was just like the adversity that we had to hit early in the season. But as time went on, I think it started to develop a great mesh in the whole group, and I think we're looking really good right now.
And yeah, I mean, you have GCU has so many scores, so many threats on the floor every time you guys are out there. Ray Harrison, Tyron Graham Foster, Colin Moore. What has it been like establishing that connection? I know you said it takes a little bit of time, but now that you guys do have a better connection, what is that relationship on and off the floor with those guys?
Oh, it's great. I mean, we all get along on and off the floor. I think the great thing is we're all a little bit so we've all kind of been there and done that. So I think um oftentimes with older teams, you might not have to say too much, but you can look at the guy and kind of know what they want and kind of know what positions they need to be in to be successful. And so I knew coming when Tyon coming back and Duke coming back that shots are going to fluctuate. So I thought I could fulfill a role that I could become a little bit better passer, maybe make the offense pop a little bit more, even if I'm not touching it or not scoring. And then on the defensive end, just like we could be very versatile, being able to switch or be able to guard different people, and be able to have different matchups and just be that guy that you can fill in at any position. So that was my mindset before going into the season and then during the season. So I think it's helped out a lot for our team, and I think everybody has had to do that in some kind of way on the team. And like I said, even though there's been a few players that's been here and that had that role, we still a different team than what they've had in the past. So for me, it was just about trying to mesh the group as quick as possible and do it at an elite level and be that leader and kind of make sure that I'm holding guys accountable, guys are holding me accountable, and obviously the mission is to win championships. So we're just trying to get back to that. So that's been the mindset, and I think that's helped out a lot.
And of course, you get to play in Global Credit Arena in front of the GCU Havocs. Obviously, it's an incredible environment. When you first took the floor for the first home game, were you caught off guard, or what was that experience like playing in front of those GCU Havocs?
It was definitely different. I played in front of big crowds. At TCU, we've had some great crowds. And of course at away games against big teams, you get good crowds, but it's different when it's like right at the beginning of the season. I wasn't used to that. At TCU, we wouldn't have as many fans at the beginning of the season. It wouldn't start, popping until probably conference play. But like for like a damn near a non-conference game, it was kind of crazy just to see the atmosphere and people be excited to watch us play. And so yeah, it was definitely and it makes you play harder and it gives you energy and it makes your juices flow. So I think that was and that's something I was looking forward to too, and to coming here because I had heard about their crowd and I heard about their atmosphere. Obviously, I didn't know about it prior to, but once I got here, I'm like, wow, like yeah, they were right. It's popping here at GCU, so it was a fun experience for sure, and it still is.
And looking so close to WAC Vegas, your first WAC Vegas. Right now, Grand Canyon sitting in second, 2 games behind Utah Valley, but pretty much solidified the top 2 seeds, which does give you an extra day of rest in the tournament. Where is
Mhm.
this team's focus as you try and close out this regular season so that you're playing your best basketball when you get to Vegas?
The focus is just one game at a time. Obviously the goal in mind is to win the whole thing, but in tournaments like that, when there's back-to-back games, you can't think about the next game before the game that you're about to play. So, we got to worry about who we playing first game, make sure we get them out the way, and then the next game we prepare, get them out the way, and then it's the championship. And then with championship basketball, just it's tough, it's gritty, and it's about executing and doing the simple things. And I think if we do that and we play our game and play together, I think we're going to be successful for sure. And then heading into the tournament, it's the same type of mentality.
And I mean, you guys have so many leaders and so many guys who have been in that position before. How much does that help when, you don't really have to say much. You just know that this is what we need to take care of business.
Yeah, I think that's what the beauty of having a few older guys on the team is you got guys that have been there and done it before. Especially with this team, they've been to the tournament what 3, 4 times, probably in the last 4 or 5 years. So you got guys that know what to do and know when to turn it on. It's about picking those younger guys up that may not have been in that position, or picking guys up that may not have been in that position in terms of they've been in college already for a few years, and just preparing them and making sure they're ready, and then also preparing myself and being an example for the guys in front of me, so that everybody feels comfortable and everybody feels good about going into each game. So as long as we do that, I think everything's gonna be fine.
Well, looking at, your background, you come from an athletic family. Your father played at Norfolk State, excuse me, and then also professionally in the CBA. What kind of words of advice or tips does he give you? Is he a guy who's watching every single game and then is texting you afterwards like, "Hey, you missed this, you missed this"?
Yeah, my pops and my brother are my biggest critics. So, got people that think I have good games or I do good stuff. Usually I get those texts from them like, nah, like you need to do better or you need to do this and stuff like that. So they're the two people that hold me accountable for my actions. And yeah, that my dad's at every mostly at every game, every home game at least. And my brother is watching as well. And so yeah, he's taught me pretty much everything I know about the game, and he's the reason why I'm successful today. And so I think the biggest thing is just taking what he says and putting it into this play. And we've worked over the summer, and we've worked in the past over many summers and many years, late nights, early mornings. So he's there to support me, and he gives me a lot of good advice. He treats everything like he's a coach. He doesn't want to treat me like he's just my parent and be biased. Like he's looking at it from a coach's perspective every time he talks to me. So I think that helps out a lot, because sometimes you can get a little biased, and he could be a little biased sometimes as parents, but I think he does a good job of balancing that, and it helps me out a lot, and it helps me be successful with teams. And I think I've done a pretty good job of my during my lifetime of helping and being successful with different teams and playing different roles and stuff like that. So yeah.
Is there one piece of advice or one phrase that he said to you that's really stuck with you and maybe has helped you when you're maybe not having such a great game or your mindset isn't where you necessarily want it to be at that moment?
That's tough. I've gotten so many text messages from my dad. It's hard to say one. I'll say one that really resonates with me is just when he tells me to have fun. At the end of the day, like this is something that I started at a young age. Just it was playing in the front yard, playing in the backyard, and just enjoying the game. So when he tells me, he'll give me a long text message. It'll be like a big paragraph, and at the very end, he'll say, "Have fun, love you, son," and that'll get me going, and that'll make me feel happy to go into the games and ready to go. So I'll say that that's the one that sticks with me most. Obviously, he's got so many things I could tell you, but I'm just gonna keep that between me and him.
Absolutely. No, have fun is a great one, of course. And when they went to Grand Canyon for a game, what were their initial reactions having to see that in person as
Oh,
well?
they loved it. They was out and about, enjoying the atmosphere. People don't know if they haven't been to GCU. There's a lot of stuff going on before the games, like outside the arena and stuff like that. They got this called the Lopes Club and all that. So they ate it right up. They had a good time. They was excited, and and they're here every home game, and they're dialed in each game, and so and my mom as well. And my mom is probably my biggest fan. She cheers me on pretty hard, and so that's just a great thing to see them to have them there and watch me for these past 4 or 5 years in basketball. So.
And second to last home game coming up on Thursday against UT Arlington. What does this team need to do to be able to get the win and sweep the Mavericks?
Uh, like I said, pay attention to detail, executing plays. I think we done a really good job at playing together and executing early in games or for a certain amount of time during the games. But the best thing to finish teams out is playing a full 40 minutes. So if we can play a full 40 minutes together and just make the simple plays and not make too many mistakes and be there for each other and encourage each other. And then also just going out there, play hard, and do what we do. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem for the sweep. So that's what we're looking to do. And then Saturday, and then next two games after that, and then head into the WAC tournament. It's winning time. So that's the mentality.
Two more home games, two more on the road. You'll finish at Abilene. And so Grand Canyon will host UT Arlington. That's this Thursday, 7 p.m. That's a Mountain Time Standard start on Thursday, ESPN Plus. JaKobe, thank you so much for sharing a little bit about yourself and best of luck.
Thank you. You as well.